But let's begin by getting that big picture out of the way. And so when we talk about virtual coaching, I'm going to just give you the outline of what that means in terms of Sibme's virtual coaching. And then Kelley, I'm going to ask you to listen and add on, fill in that outline that I'm going to sketch for us right now. But when we talk about Sibme's virtual coaching process, we're talking about a 6-week cycle. And we've chosen to have that process last for 6 weeks because that's really an ideal amount of time. And here's why, is it takes a while to get folks who we're working with, oftentimes new or struggling teachers, it takes a while to get rid of some habits that they might have developed for survival that aren't serving them well. So 6 weeks is an ideal time to get rid of some habits that aren't working and develop some new habits and get into some routines and success with those new habits. So 6 weeks is really an ideal amount of time. More than that seems a little bit demanding, because we are asking those people who are being coached to give us somewhere between, and I've tried to calculate this one time, I think it's really asking them to commit just about 2 hours a week to the coaching process when it's all said and done. And it's a very repetitive process, which I'll walk you through and give you the outline of that. And that is, so for 6 weeks, basically what happens is we've been contacted usually by an administrator who has recognized they have a new or struggling teacher. They reach out to us. We do some vetting with them. We only want to work in situations where we have an administrator who sincerely wants to keep and help a teacher. We don't want to be part of the paperwork to get rid of a teacher. That's not of any interest to any of us. So we do a little vetting as to what role the principal wants us to play or the supervisor wants us to play. And then we begin this 6-week cycle. It's very repetitive. It begins with basically about a 45, 55-minute Skype or Google Hangout or FaceTime conversation where we see one another and we're talking together about the goals we're working on. We've been given handoff goals by the supervisor, 2 or 3 handoff goals that we're supposed to begin our work with. And then during the course of that coaching conversation, we move on to requesting what are called snapshot videos. We request usually two or so of those a week, where we're asking the teacher to share with us in video moments of instruction related to the goal that they're working on. And during the course of the week, after those videos are shared, our coaches have the opportunity of using the Sibme platform to provide timestamp feedback to the videos that have been submitted. In addition to that, our coaches are going to share resources related to the goal that the teacher's working on and ask those teachers to read and review and think about and reflect on those resources that are goal related. And then the cycle that week ends by the coach sharing a coaching report with the teacher they're working with the supervisor, and they CC me. So all those things happen every week within the 6 weeks of that cycle. So I've given you the outline. Kelley, do you want to fill in some of the details?
The conversations, I'll say when we start to have conversations, one of my first goals is to gain trust and to just kind of listen. And as we progress through the 6 weeks, I notice that an excitement kind of brews within because we're trying new things. And I think the great thing about what our coaches do is that we create this safe space that allows them to be honest about where they are in their understanding of certain crafts and where they really want to go genuinely. And I really think it's a benefit to teachers to have that personalization. Nobody's interrupting us. They don't have to worry about someone listening or anything. It's very, very intimate. And I think that really, as I've noticed in my coaching, that's so important because I see the most growth with the teachers that really trust me that my heart is in the right place. And I genuinely and sincerely want them to grow. And when they can feel that from any of the coaches, they're going to grow and they're going to get excited about what they're doing. And they're going to be honest. Like we talked about before, when things don't work, that's okay. The first time around, if we think about trying anything new for the first time, it's not always going to be perfect the first time. But what we need to do is, instead of letting it go and saying that doesn't work, we come back with the video feedback that we have and say, okay, what part of this didn't work? And we talk about that. And that conversation can't take place without that trust and that safe space that we create as coaches.